Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to watch the video. Much appreciated. And thanks everybody that have subscribed to the channel. I really appreciate that. And thanks everybody that has stepped up to become members of the channel. I really appreciate that. And I'm giving my weekly reminder, if you guys are interested in becoming members of the channel, you can go on the my main page of my YouTube channel. Click on the About section and then click on Intuitive Memberships, and that gives you all the info how to become a member of the channel. It's a great way to support the channel if you like what I'm doing here. But today got a good video for you guys, in my opinion. Some people may not like it, some people may really like it. I'm going to continue putting out, occasional videos sort of on the mental part of fishing, because like I said before, in my opinion, it's more important as far as to elevate yourself as an angler by big leaps and bounds. It's a lot more important than when I give you guys a secret lure modification. This is going to help you in the short term. So even though these views don't seem to get as many, these videos don't seem to get as many views, hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll pick up steam a little bit so I can keep doing them, because I think it's really important to talk about. So anyway, what I want to talk about today is one aspect of the thing that I do in my fishing, and how important it is to basically touch the water when you're fishing. And I think a lot of this goes back to a lot of us are so removed from nature. We're disconnected from nature, and when you become disconnected from nature, your awareness for everything that's going on in the natural world also drops. I'm going to venture that most people in this country, not all of them, but most people, during the course of a week's time, their feet never touch grass. Their feet are on concrete, tile, pavement, whatever like that. They never get, on dirt or grass or anything like that. They're just sort of disconnected from that natural world. And 300 years ago, 200 years ago, it was the exact opposite. Your feet were always in contact with the earth or something natural. It's the same with the water. I mean, I think that there's a lot of people out there that go throughout the course of a day's fishing, maybe even weeks of fishing and months of fishing, maybe even years fishing, and never basically put their hand in the water, never touch the water, never get connected to that part of the water. And one of the rituals that I like to do in my fishing, and I always have, is when I put my boat in the water, I like to stick my hand in the water and just sort of like, just slowly stir it around in the water, sort of get a feel for it. There's not a lot of reason. I mean, yeah, the obvious reason, you can feel the water temperature, but that's not really the reason I do it. To me, it's almost like a thing that's sort of hard to explain, and this video is sort of hard to explain. But, by swirling my hand around in the water a little bit for maybe, 30 or 40 seconds like that, I just feel like it sort of connects me to the lake a little bit more. Everything on this planet, the law of physics, tell us that everything on this planet has energy, that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes form. And I don't know what it is about it, but by putting my hand in the water and just sort of stroking and caressing that water, it sort of grounds me a little bit to the lake before I get fishing. And I sort of know that a lot of people maybe haven't done that. I'll even take it a little bit further. Maybe I may turn over some rocks at the boat ramp, trying to look for some crawdads. Just try to connect with the lake a little bit like that. I think that what that does, that opens up an aspect of your awareness that maybe was cut off before. And it gives you a sense of gratitude too, because gratitude in fishing is a big part of it. I mean, because in me, if you bass fish and you fish in general and you just are in it for nothing more than like getting bit and catching fish and ripping lips, you're missing out so much that this sport has to offer. This sport has so much to offer as far as the ability to learn about yourself, the ability to experience all the emotions you have as a human being, the ability to be healed, therapeutic, aspects of it, and awareness that comes from that. And this is one of the exercises that I do. I'll give you guys a real short example. Maybe this will illustrate it a little bit better. Years ago, I attended quite a few wilderness survival schools in New Jersey. And the person that taught this particular school that I went to, a lot of the stuff that he learned as far as wilderness survival came from this 87-year-old old Apache Indian that he called grandfather. And he was basically taught by grandfather for over 10 years. Grandfather passed down a lot of the old ways of the Lipan Apaches, survival stuff to him. That's what we learned about a lot in the school I was at. And there was one story that stuck out in my mind more than anything that he told me. He said that one time grandfather was always trying to teach him lessons. You know, the guy that was, running our class. He called him grandfather, the old Indian. So anyway, the instructor of our course named Tom, he'd always tell us stories about what grandfather did and, things that he did to teach him about wilderness survival. And there's always lessons behind everything he did. And he said one time grandfather wanted to teach him a lesson about appreciating water and appreciating water for what it can do for you. And so what they did is in the middle of the summer, they went out on a all-day hike, all day long with no water, almost to the point where they just couldn't hardly function anymore. And he said on the way back from the hike, he knew that they were getting close to the stream, where they took out at. And Tom hadn't had a drink all day long, and neither had grandfather. And Tom said, and he was like, 12 or 13 years old at the time. And he said as they got closer to the creek, Tom just ran to the creek as fast as he could and jumped in the water and just started gobbling down water as fast as he could. Because he was just completely dehydrated and he was on the verge of just, passing out because he was so thirsty. And that was the lesson that grandfather wanted to teach him. So he said, he was jumping in the creek and drinking and getting all cooled off. And he said grandfather, slowly walked up to the creek. And he said that wasn't in any big hurry, and he hadn't drank all day long either. And he said he wasn't in any big hurry. And he said he knelt down by the creek, by the water. And he said he just looked at it for a little bit. And then he said he just slowly started caressing. I got some dogs in here, guys. I'm gonna have to go inside so you guys can hear me. But anyway, he knelt down by the side of the creek and slowly started caressing the water with his hand just across the surface, just like gently caressing it like that with both hands, not even taking a drink. And he said he did this for a couple minutes. And he said after a couple minutes, he said he scooped some water up in his hands like this. And he scooped it up and he just looked at it and he just held it up to the light and looked at it. And he did this for another couple minutes. And then he reached down and got another scoop. And he said he very slowly just took a small sip of it, just a real small sip of it, and put it back in the water and took a little bit more, just looked at it, took a small sip at it, almost like he was sampling a glass of expensive wine or something. And Tom, was sort of amazed. It's like, he knew grandfather was dying of thirst too, but after what had happened, grandfather explained to him, he said, this is a great lesson for you to learn. He said, because by you just rushing to that water and reaching down and gobbling it in as quick as you could, you're not really appreciating what that water is doing for you. And grandfather, on the other hand, he was basically trying to give a moment to sort of honor the water a little bit for the fact that this water was going to nourish him and basically sustain his ability to live. And by doing that, by the water becoming the gift to him, he was honoring that water and he was showing gratitude by taking his time with it and not just mindlessly gobbling it down. I found that extremely impactful in my own life as far as how a lot of us out there, we don't have much gratitude and awareness for what's around us in the natural world. And we sort of just, we drive to the ramp, 80 miles an hour. Some guys got, music cranked up, blasting out of the speakers on their trucks on the way to the ramp. Just balls to the wall, getting in the boat, taking off 100 miles an hour. And we lose that. We lose that contact with that reverence that I'm talking about a little bit for the natural world. And that's one of the reasons that I take time every morning and just put my hand in the water and just sort of just feel that gratitude a little bit. It sort of helps connect me a lot. Now, does it help me catch more fish? Probably not. But what it does, it increases my awareness, and it gives me my awareness for gratitude for what I have, because I'm grateful to have that opportunity to be out in the water and to be out in the natural world. And I think a lot of us take it for granted too much. I think a lot of us take it for granted, what we have as far as what we can use. I think a lot of people lack a tremendous amount of awareness as far as environmental issues that we have that are directly affecting our ability to do what we love, whether it be fishing or hunting. I think a lot of people just sweep that under the rug. And this is just one of the exercises that I go through, guys, in my fishing, that you might want to try it. Don't knock it until you try it. It'll open up some pathways in your way of thinking that you probably didn't have before. It'll slow you down a little bit. It's therapeutic. It's healing. Give it a try. See what you guys think. If you guys don't, get anything out of it, then, that's everybody's on their own path, but it's something that I really enjoy doing every morning when I get on the water. So anyway, just wanted to share that out there. I know this isn't for everybody. Some of you guys will probably like it. Some of you guys will probably say, stop doing the YouTube channel critiques and stop doing this mental stuff and get back to showing me how to modify baits. I realize that completely, but I'm trying to put out a little bit of stuff out there for everybody in this channel. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't. It'd be much appreciated, and we'll be back soon with another one. See ya.